Good evening, brothers and sisters. Happy to be here with another show. We'll try to push these things out and get the knowledge and understanding. Get the knowledge and understanding of what we're in today, because we are definitely in a very dark time and difficult hour, brothers and sisters. We got to have some brothers and sisters that are strong today. A lot of this truth that we put out, everybody can't accept it. Everybody can't accept this truth. So it is a challenge. It is a challenge to our minds, our psyches, for those of us that wouldn't do it. Those of us that wouldn't damage anyone for any sake. It's a challenge for us to wrap our mind around the assassinations that have happened against our leaders from our people. From our people, brothers and sisters. So we're going to wait for brothers and sisters to come in. And we pray that they're ready to come in. And we've got a lot of new developments. A lot of new developments today. Also, I'd like to bring your attention. I would like to bring your attention to a new discovery that we've had concerning Kemet and Egypt. So that's something that's coming about. There's a book that we'll be releasing with all of that information. So this book is going to shock you. It's going to really blow the socks off of you when you see the discovery that we made that America has had the entire time. But I'm very happy to have come into the knowledge of this with the archaeology group. Something that we've been working on for years. As a matter of fact, since 1996. And we finally got the proof that we need that the Smithsonian, as well as other professors, other archaeologists have the same information. So we're going to get this information out. Other scientists have the same information. We're going to certainly get this out. And here's the thing. When the information that we have is going to be of such nature. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. Information we have is going to be of such nature until you're going to be satisfied to hear it. I know that you will definitely be satisfied to hear it. And some things you may have known the entire time. Maybe things you may have known the entire time. But it is dealing with religious history, also dealing with social history as it relates to Africa. And I had a debate with the brother, nationalist, friendly debate, loving debate, because iron sharpens iron, and to show the brother this particular discovery that is right under our noses, but a lot of us don't know it because it's right under the nose. So things that will slip by other individuals. So we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be waiting. We're taking our time today to make sure that the brothers and sisters get in that want to come in. Certainly going to take our time. And we have a lot of fresh information. Not really fresh for us, but maybe fresh for you. And because we know that when brothers and sisters, and it works against us, we have secrets in the black community. We have secrets in the black community. We won't speak it. Lots of time, these secrets would save the lives of our brothers and sisters. Lots of time, if we would speak the secrets. But a lot of us do not want to speak the secrets. And as a result of that, our brothers end up losing their life. Our sisters end up losing their life. Right? We don't challenge it. If you're any kind of leader, you'll be happy if a brother or sister challenge the death of a person working in black nationalism. If you were any kind of leader, and that would take the integrity of a leader. The only people that move slow about murder are the people that did it. They don't want you to find out about it. Or somebody that was involved in it because they don't want you to find out about it. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to take time to give some real honesty, some real plausibility to what has happened. And we should not feel bad. We should not feel bad. Isn't that right? For bringing certain people to life. You shouldn't feel bad about that. The fact of the matter is that we're going to have truth. Something that's affecting our community. Dangerous things that are affecting our community. Then you and I, brothers and sisters, the main thing that we would do is bring it out and to ask questions and to investigate. So that's what I'm here to tell you today. That through deep investigation, we found out some information. Just a slighter bit of information, but it's of course it's slight information that would have great effects. Certainly a pivoting effect on information that you may already know. So I'm very happy to bring it out, very happy to talk about it. And this is conclusive. And the information that we put out will be complicit, as my colleague has corrected me on different occasions about my vocabulary. So it will be complicit. This will be complicit information. So we want to make sure that you have it. We want you to join us tonight. For what we're doing. We've got to fight, brothers and sisters. I'm having trouble with this system. I'm having a lot of trouble with this system. So just bear with me. The good thing, Allah be praised that we're online. You have that to our credit. But these systems, I'm having trouble with them. So I ask that y'all be patient with me. And all of those that would like to come on, we pray that you come on. We certainly pray that you come on so that we can do the show. It's going to be a great show tonight. And as every night, as far as I'm concerned, is a great show. But nonetheless, this particular show is going to line out the killing of the messenger of the Nation of Islam. And that's what we should be talking about. This is actually the subject that we've always wanted to get to, the killing of the messenger of the Nation of Islam. This is a subject that we've always wanted to get to. And the reason why, and as I told you before, Malcolm was a casualty for the original plan, of the federal government. He was a casualty of the original plan of the federal government, and that plan was always Elijah. That plan was always the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So there was no difference in the desire to take out Minister Muhammad. So that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I should say, but that was certainly the desire to take him out. That was certainly the desire. So when we add it all up, we know that there's some funny business and there's some funny moves. Funny business and funny moves as it relates to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When it comes to his life and his life being under threat. And they never say anything. We understand that he comes down with asthmatic bronchitis, but they never really say anything concerning the health of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I find that very problematic. It's very problematic because after all, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the reason for the Nation of Islam outside the founder, right? Outside the founder, who is Master Fard Muhammad. Now, And that there's another depth that goes all the way up the chain. This character assassination goes all the way up the chain. So we're going to be talking about these things, and we're going to have a good show tonight. I ask that you bring somebody, bring somebody. Go and get someone so that they'll know exactly what's going on the show. But we intend to have a good show tonight to talk about these issues that men and women had not picked up on until we've had our recent discovery of some information. Well, we won't say discovery of information, but information that we've always had. This information we've always had, but have recently begun to pay attention to this in the reinvestigation of Minister Malcolm's death. That people have began to pay attention to it. Not that we hadn't had the knowledge, because to be correct, we've had the knowledge, but to be able to dispense that knowledge at a certain time is an issue. It is an issue. So, brothers and sisters, my desire, my prayer is that we would get to this point today, that we would get to this point, and I'm so happy, so glad, so happy and so glad to get to this point so that we'll be able to discuss these things. And I'm asking you to join us. Wherever you are out there, I'm asking you to join us so that we can get the show going, so that we could begin to discuss it and welcome anyone to what we have going on. And remember, brothers and sisters, if God can't trust you in a little bit, then he certainly won't trust you with a lot. Just remember that. If he can't trust you with a little bit, he certainly won't trust you with a lot. And this is a chance, the time for you to wake up and get involved. We need to get involved. It's time to get involved. We've got to get involved. We got to get involved because we have no alternative. And we must understand that the white man's heaven is indeed the black man's hell. We have to understand that there's a war out here. There's a war, brothers and sisters. You and I are involved in it. We're involved in a war. And this war out here is claiming the lives of many brothers and sisters. It's claiming the lives of many brothers and sisters. And we've got to get busy. Isn't that right? We've got to get steadfast, unmovable, and always abounding in the work of God, which is found in our Lord. We've got to get busy. We have failed. We've got to get busy, because the longer that we sit and the longer that we do not explain exactly what's going on, this becomes problematic. It becomes problematic for you. It becomes problematic for me and the generations to come. So what are we actually doing? We're not trying to get a crowd, so to speak, but what we're doing is we're trying to expose ourselves to these research and studies so that brothers and sisters will see what's going on, right? And be able to tell their children, what's going on, and transmit this urgency. There's an urgency that should happen in the black community, because if we don't understand where we're going wrong, we'll never go right. The only way to go right is to understand where we're going wrong. And we have to understand that this government is not a friend to the black man. You got to understand that. You have to understand it. Don't get mad at me. Don't you dare get mad at me. You have to understand that this government is not your friend. I'm not just saying that. Slavery says it. Colonialization says it. Invading. The Hyksos, right? Invaded Egypt, right? Before that, we had the Punic Wars of Carthage, right? Which real name is Libya. Every time the white man went somewhere to go to war, he changed the name of the destination. When he got there, he win, he changed the name. If he lost, he changed the name, because to him, his maps were relevant. Isn't that right? Everybody has a blueprint to follow. The question is, what will be your life blueprint? What will be your life blueprint? That's the question for you today. What will be your life blueprint? And we have to ask ourselves that question, because we got so much going on today, brothers and sisters. So much is developing until we just don't know what to do. Now, I want to say that Farrakhan is stepping down again, so he says, I don't think he'll do it because his ego is too big. But Farrakhan said he's stepping down. Now, it's ironic that he is stepping down each time they're going over this assassination of Minister Malcolm. And here's the thing. They're not going to finger Farrakhan. They're not going to finger Farrakhan one bit, and you'll see it. They're trying to keep him in place. They want to shake him up a little. That's what they do. When somebody has charge of you and you're their machine, every now and then they want to turn the dial. They want to spray the gears just to make sure that you're up and running. Just to make sure, right? But once Farrakhan dies, and you've heard it here, once he dies, then you'll start to see the truth come out. Once he dies, you'll see the truth come out. That Farrakhan orchestrated and also took in the assassination of Minister Malcolm X directly. You're going to see that. And I know right now, to you, that sounds crazy. But see, they did the same thing. Him and Wallace Waradeen Muhammad did the same thing against the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I have said for years and watched Farrakhan talk hastily about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in cleverness, or speak of him with a slant. He will say, well, no one has ever had anything to say about anyone in my domestic life. He would say stuff like that. This is a shot in the gut. But you have to be paying attention. You have to be out of that haze. You know, Farrakhan is a great speaker. He has a great seducing power. But you got to be out of that haze before you can know exactly what's going on. You got to be out of the haze. So, brothers and sisters, again, this is going to be a great show. We'll take our time with it because it's a beautiful show, and we're gonna move on. Isn't that right? We're gonna move on in a special way. In a special way, we're gonna move on so that our brothers and sisters can have some understanding about what they're up against. Now, I want you to understand that there'll never be a place, there'll never be a place for you at the white man's table. That's the first thing you got to understand. Once you understand that, you're okay. Once you understand that, you're okay. There'll never be a place for you at the white man's table. Can you accept that? See, because if a lot of black people would accept this, then we would be in freedom tomorrow. We'd be able to rewrite the history books beginning next year if people really believed it. But you got so many people that don't believe it. You got so many people that don't believe it. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. My desire and my prayer is that we would be together in understanding that we must investigate everything that happened around us, especially with our leaders. We need to investigate with our leaders. We need to investigate everything that goes on around us. Minister Malcolm did a lot of the work, but earlier works were done by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I want you to know that Elijah was the target of the federal government. Malcolm was part of the casualty. Because he believed it so strongly, he died for what he believed. Isn't that right? Another way of saying the government killed him, just like they did Jesus. Isn't that right? Yeah, the government killed Jesus. Yeah, the government did. But now, the same thing with Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And any leader that comes up in the government or comes up against the government, such as Minister Malcolm, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, Mark Clark, the Black Panther Party, New Black Panther Party, African American Defense League, Najee Shaka Muhammad, Prince Najee Shaka Muhammad of Liberation Party. So these organizations that come up, you name them, if they come up for a cause, and it's a united cause that would damage the government's cause, then they are a danger to the U.S. government. How are they a danger to the U.S. government? Because with that awakeness, because it said now people are woke. I don't believe that. That's a social wokeness, but they're not truly woke. Because if they were, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in. And now, and here's the other thing. Everybody white now want to be on a bandwagon of black suffering. I don't mean no harm, brothers and sisters. I really don't. But I have to tell you the truth. I've got to tell you the truth, because with the truth, then you're able to understand where you are. Your eyes can become open. You understand what you must do. And I want to say, I've said this before, with us marching down the streets at this late date is not necessary. You'll be fooled marching down the street. Everybody can make out your face and your soldiers getting killed. Brothers and sisters, don't do it. But we got to be in our communities. We've got to be teaching our children. We've got to reestablish respect in our communities, retrain our children, renovate the houses in our community, and use those as profit. Say these things the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did. These things the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did. Set up stores in our community so you can profit. Set up temples in our community. Our practices within our community. And some people will have a 4-in-1, a 5-in-1. Isn't that right? Because the minute the holidays and stuff coming, you got something to sell that people need. Instead of them going over to the white man, they come over to you. Huh? Instead of going over to the white man, they can come over to you. Isn't that right? And they'll be able to get those products and put that money back in the black community. Our problem is that we're not putting the money back into the black community. I want you to understand something. You have to understand this, brothers and sisters. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad created more businesses, and I say more, even more than Marcus Garvey, more businesses than any other black leader inside the community. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. You have to understand how important that is. That he created these businesses in the black community, that they were creating jobs in the black community. It was getting black people off the street. He was changing their life. He would get them off the street, teaching them they're out selling papers, right? So to the lowest element, he gave them a job to stop them from being idle. Is that right or wrong? He gave them a job to stop them from being idle. If he could stop them from being idle, then that means that he could change their life, right? He gave them a new talk, a new walk with religion, spirituality, organization, socialization, the Nation of Islam, right? Freedom, justice, equality, and Islam. Isn't that right? So he gave them Feji. That's what I like to call it. Freedom, equality, justice, and Islam. He gave them Feji, and when they had Feji, then they had a motive. They had a move. They had their own flag, right? They had their own goals and objectives for the organization. Land of our own, right? A place of our own. So that we be able to organize the people, right? Same way they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But I want you to understand, Tulsa, Oklahoma didn't understand that it was a force. You see what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey didn't understand that he was an actual nation. He didn't have a land base, so to speak, but he was an actual nation. He himself, with his organization, was an actual nation within a nation, right? Then Allah said, Jesus said, I'll make you a government within a government. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was an intelligent man. And this is what I want to tell you. You have to understand that when a man is this intelligent, he has a focus. Because if you organize black people together on a religious government, right? America was supposed to be on a religious government. You understand what I'm saying? The black man is the best believer and the best knower of what God can do because he's been dealing with that white man so long. And when he finally come up with his own answers and said, look, I got to get out of the way and get out of the company of this white man because his way is only destruction. But if I follow God, since I've been following God anyway, right, there's nothing that the white man can do to me. This is dangerous. This is dangerous talk. It wasn't Malcolm that found the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was the most the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that found Minister Malcolm. And I hope you understand that, because this is very serious. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad found Minister Malcolm. And when he found him, he put a new message in his mind. Independence. You didn't have to tell Minister Malcolm that the white man was the devil. Why? He already knew that. He already knew the white man was the devil. You didn't have to tell him that. He already knew it. And see, you got to understand that. This is the one thing you have to understand. And because Malcolm's dad teach the same philosophy under the Garveyite movement. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the earlier years of his life was enticed heavily by the Garvey movement, Marcus Garvey, and a massive amount of black people were in the Marcus Garvey movement, a massive amount of black people. So you have to understand how tantalizing this was and how attractive it was to hear this kind of talk, how attractive it was. And to grab someone who has the understanding. If someone has the understanding of what's going on, right? And Malcolm's foundation was rooted in independence, do for self mentality. Isn't that right? His mother was the newspaper lady of the Garvey movement. She would print news wherever they went. She was over the press. He eventually himself would create what? He would create a newspaper and in his mother's stead. And also, right? Also, he would do what? He would also become a minister, just like his father. So these foundations and these contributions were with Minister Malcolm. And you have to understand that, because this is very important. This is very important. You have to understand that an agent's job is to distort your vision, your view, and your purpose. See, because there were agents around. The key of the movement was to get the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X to distort one another's notion of their notion of the organization's goal. Because if you can distort the notion of the organization goal, you'll be able to distort the philosophy of the organization. Isn't that right? Because the founder and the minister of the organization are at discord. At that place, that point, you can corrupt the atmosphere. You can literally corrupt the atmosphere. And that's what we want to talk about, because it's something that's not really discussed. It's something that's not really discussed. And this is something that we must discuss if we're going to truly know where we are and which way to go. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian. It doesn't matter if you're Baha'i faith. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim. It doesn't matter if you're Greek Orthodox. It doesn't matter if you're Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, African Methodist Episcopal. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you understand if you are black and you inside of organized religion, the white man is going to keep a close eye on you. That's what matters, because he's going to do it. He's going to do it because his vested interest. He has a vested interest. Understand that. In you not growing or not teaching a philosophy that is not going to be to his benefit. See, I want you to understand that this is another thing that's very important. The Nation of Islam, which is a nation, had bylaws and laws for blacks and the benefit of blacks. Understand that. And the Constitution of the United States, which is for all intents and purposes for white people, has laws that are for whites and for the benefit of whites. You have to understand that. More than anything else, the Constitution was not made for you. You weren't meant to be equal. You weren't meant to have voting rights. You weren't meant to be a citizen. Yeah. Your 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment was not set for you to have equality. That's why these black people running around here looking like fools, running to and fro, running amok, and trying to fight for voting rights that you should have been given when you were born. Isn't that right? Because even let's just say the Emancipation Proclamation was real, which I know it wasn't. But let's just humor it for a minute. Humor you for a minute. If it was real, and you're supposed to have a naturalization process, whether you're a slave or free, why weren't you able to get rights at birth? Because it wasn't made for you. It wasn't made for you, brothers and sisters. And that's what you have to understand. It was made for the white man, for the benefit of the white man, right? It wasn't even made for the Native American. It was made for white people and the benefit of white people. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad understood that. The older leaders that it came from under, the National Baptist Convention, the Garveyite Institutional Baptist Convention, which is E.C. Morris on the National Baptist Convention, Marcus Garvey on the African National Baptist Convention. You had Delaney was in the African Methodist Episcopal, right? And then you had Denmark Vesey. These leaders understood, right? Reverend Boyd of Boyd Sunday School Publishing. These leaders understood one thing. They understood one thing, that the goal of America was not the goal of the black man. America's goal is that we be oppressed. It makes it easier. And that they will be free. It makes it easier. You have to understand that. Oppression and freedom. You have to understand that. If you don't understand anything else, you have to understand that. Because that's a great foundation to start. Why would they be after the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, again, created bylaws, created a nation that was for blacks, for the benefit of blacks. Lending association, people could get cars, houses. Isn't that right? Jobs, they can start their own job and get the financing for it. Isn't that right? So there was a reason why they wanted to kill the master and the messenger. There's a reason why. That was the reason why. You don't have to miss it if you wrap your mind around what's going on. Now, why do you think they're investigating the death of Minister Malcolm? Because your concerns are rising up. You know why they got these virtual shows, YouTube and all that? And it's under the Meta stock. That's another thing too. You need to invest in Meta stock because that's going to shoot up one day. You remember that I said it because all the virtual engines are coming off of it. And it doesn't cost much. All you can spend $1 to go to Meta stock. If you want to come with Liberation Tax Service Group, we can show you how to do that. If not, you can do it yourself. Invest in the Meta stock. And the Meta stock is going to go high. And I'm going to put that in there. So put that in there, invest. Invest in the Meta stock. You can do it yourself or we can help you. Matter of fact, if you got $1, you can invest in the Meta stock. Just go on Cash App and you can literally invest in the Meta stock. Or we can guide you, right? We got all these. I'm thankful for the business-minded people. We can guide you through Cash App, and you can do it yourself. And I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm saying Meta stock. The Meta stock handle virtual engines you see, just like Facebook, YouTube that we're on. Any one of them that you could think of. Any one of them that you could think of. Just go to the stock market. Go to the stock market. You can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. So this is a do for self mentality. do for self mentality. Okay, and that's not a Bitcoin stock. That's a natural stock. All you have to do, if you got a Cash App, just go through Cash App and you'll see stocks. You can add literally $1 to stocks. And if you want to know how to make money from it, and it's depending on how much you invest, that's how much money you can make. But you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. You can go to like I said, Cash App, or you can go get you a stock app and do it. Go to Play, Google Play, and you can do it yourself through that. But nonetheless, that'll help you. That'll help you. And everybody could use some extra money, brothers and sisters. I know I could. Right? You can buy your own. So support the show. You can do that if you want them. Hope that you would. We have books and everything on the very subject that we're talking about tonight. We have books on that. So every dime you spend will keep this show where it belongs. Every dime you spend. Two things I want to say too before we get too deep into our study. We have Imhotep University, and you can do that. Literally take classes at home. Literally take classes at home at your own pace. And I'm going to put that in there. I'll continue to put it in so that you'll be able to see that we're an organization that isn't playing around, right? We're coming in to try to save the Black community. We want you to get something from it. So you can check these links. Check these links and you can do it yourself. You don't need anyone to do it. If you need tutoring sessions, then we have people online that can tutor. I also teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you have some contact. You got a number you can call to come in if you want. Number you can call to get any help that you want with those stocks. But if you go on Cash App, you should see those stocks there, or you can go on Google Play. I'm going to put it down here. Google Play has a stock app. To upload. All right. So that's that, brothers and sisters. I want to let you know that. So you can do it yourself. I like to put that on there. Do it yourself. You ain't got to worry about anyone else doing it. You can do it. It's very easy. It's not hard. Tell people we can do anything we want to do if we put our mind to it, and ask you to put your mind to it so you can do it. If you do need help, we're here for you. If you need help. But I believe you can do it yourself. Now, brothers and sisters, this book about the killing of the minister. This book about the killing of the ministers. Very, very strong book. Very, very strong book. And I'm talking about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. A very, very strong book because it points out why the American government would want to kill Elijah Muhammad. Now, they knew that they have to divide him and Minister Malcolm before they could do anything, because they knew that Malcolm would lay down his life for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He would literally lay down his life for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He believed in what he was doing. You got a lot of people that are jumping things just to be seen. And they can't get anywhere because they're not willing to put in the work. It's just like this show. I'm going to continue to be on it because the more I'm on it, then the more serious you'll see that I am. And you'll go tell someone else, hey, come listen to this, brother. I may have to be on it a whole year. Doing it 7 days a week for at least 6 months. And then after that, maybe you'll say, well, this brother is serious. He's real. And we talk about real subjects, brother, because we want you to be up. We want you to be up. Back on our subject about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They had to get him out of the way. And they'll have you thinking about Malcolm. Now, why would they speak of Malcolm over the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Right? Divide and conquer. Because they know that all of us would be for Elijah, but they knew that some of us would be for Minister Malcolm. And it's better to say that way. It's better to say it that way. Right? So they said we got to divide and conquer. That's what we got to do. We got to divide and we got to conquer. And you know that same trick is working today. They use the same trick in Africa, and the very same trick, brothers and sisters, is working today. Very same trick. Divide and conquer. If I can do that, right? Isn't that what we say? Divide and conquer? Yeah. Yeah, if I can do that, I'll be good. Right? Because everybody wants to be heard. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. I know you understand. Everybody wants to be heard. And everybody wants to lead. And there's nothing wrong with leading, as long as you know how to follow. Right? Excuse me. I know you understand. So everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to lead. There's nothing wrong with leading. There's nothing wrong with leading. Absolutely nothing wrong with leading. As long as you're able to follow the blueprint, the rules, and understand what the goal is. You look at America, America has a goal. Her goal is to stay in power. Her goal is constant oppression of the people from within and the people from without. Now, I think that's a self-defeating goal. It's self-defeating, but nonetheless, everybody white is on board. That's what brothers are saying. That. No, not everybody, brother. Because I know, because my girlfriend or my wife, you know, as if we can take you seriously if you did that. But that's another story. My girlfriend, my wife, they wouldn't do that. The sister saying, no, my husband wouldn't do that, not to me. Let me tell you something. Every white person on the planet benefits from white privilege. White privilege is the infant child of white racism. Right? And racism is infant child of global racism. So you can't tell me that there's any white exceptions. I'm not saying there isn't, but all I'm saying is this. If I had a billion bees, can I say that? If I had a billion bees, right, coming after me, and a guy on the sidelines has got on a full bee uniform, right, from head to toe, says to me, he said, man, look, I know those bees are after you, but if you stop running and stand still, there's a chance they may pass by. But if they run over you, there's a million bees in that billion bees that may not have stingers. Brothers and sisters, you and I will be out of our mind to stay there for the million bees amid the billion bees who may not have stingers. You understand what I'm saying? So I can't say that you're wrong. I can't say that you're wrong, right? And I may even believe it. I may even believe it. But it's better for me, since I don't have on a bee uniform, to take my chances running away from them as fast as I can. Find some lake or something that I could jump in, right, to keep them off of me, right? Because I know you ain't gonna make it under the water. Isn't that right? So, brothers and sisters, this is what I'm telling you, right? Or find some smoke, right? Find some fire, smoke and fire, that I could get them away from me. But this is what I'm trying to tell you, brothers and sisters, that if a mamba and a cobra is fighting, it's even Steven. You understand what I'm saying? Because both of them are venomous. Both of them have the potential to kill, and both of them want to live, and that's enough to make you fight. Now, if you want to live, when I say you, I mean your people, and you want to exist, not survive, exist. In other words, you've been existing here. There's history of your existence, right? All over the world. Every time they dig, the darker it gets, because the world was dark. The entire continents were dark-skinned people. We didn't see white people until about 7,000 years ago. To be exact, 6,600 years ago. We didn't see them until about 6,600 years ago. And they were coming out of the caves of Europe. They were coming out of the caves of Europe. Now, when I say white man, because the name white really doesn't exist. But I say it, even though I say it against my will, because it is a racist term. Black is racist too. That's the philology of the words, black and white. That they'll, in America, go beyond the color board or the color spectrum, and it will literally touch the features and complexion of human beings. That's what we are. We're human beings, we're humankind, and we're man. But mankind is something different. Mankind is something else. You understand what I'm saying? And mankind is part of the animal chain. Now, that's not me. That's science saying that. Right? The line of Homo sapien. I didn't say it. The man said it in his own science. As a matter of fact, Charles Darwin came up with this. It's crazy when you look at it, but it's true. He's telling the truth. He knows exactly where he comes from. So he's telling the truth. You have to understand that. And when my grandmother always said, when someone tell you or show you who they are, accept it. Believe them. If they show you, they don't have any reason to lie. Isn't that right? So we have to understand the danger that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was in, because he did what? His objective was the black man. His goal was the black man. His client was the black man, and he was black. He couldn't go wrong. There's absolutely no way that he could go wrong. He couldn't go wrong. Because he understood that he had to create, he understood that he had to create an organization for blacks and for the benefit of blacks. When you open your business, you have to understand that you open up a business for blacks and for the benefit of blacks. It doesn't mean that the white man can't come and buy something. You go in his stores every day, and his store is made for him, for the benefit of his community and his people. You go in his store every day, but open up a store in your community. That's what I'm telling you. Open up a store in your community and make that store for the benefit of your community. That means that every dime that comes in that community is for you, for your banks, right? We got One United Bank. Usher and some of the other entertainers now are telling you, and comedians and everybody, right? Intelligent people, right? Are telling you to bank with One United. You got Robert F. Smith, a lot of these powerful guys telling you to bank One United. Oprah Winfrey still telling people go to Bank of America, and Bank of America been cheating people ever since it was open. Ever since the doors open, it's been cheating people. But One United Bank is your dollars moving for you. So it's a good place to go because it's for blacks, for the benefit of blacks. It doesn't mean that a white person can't have a banking account there. That's not what it's saying. But the purpose of it is for blacks. If you open up a store and you sell products, you're not going to stop selling products to the white man. And the white man, I have to admit, when he comes in your stores, he's treated with much more dignity and respect than he comes to any of the other stores where they have quote unquote black Americans, quote unquote black Christians, right? Quote unquote. Isn't that right? Huh? Wait, quote unquote. So he'll have to admit that these quote unquote black citizens and quote unquote black Americans and quote unquote black Christians, right? When they greet him in their stores, he get the same greet. But when you come to the nation and come to the Muslim stores, you get respect and dignity and all that, and self-worth. When you spend your money, right? But here's the thing. He'll come and buy that, and he understands that it's for your community. And I want to tell you this, because I think you already know it, even if you don't admit it. The white man don't want you in his community. He don't even want you in his church. He don't want you dating his daughter. He don't want you dating his son. Isn't that right? The white man wants to be with his own people. He don't want you in his community. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He should want to be around his own people. I've never seen any animal in the animal kingdom, no pun intended, I've never seen any animal in the animal kingdom that doesn't run with its own kind. You look at the snake, right? Garden snake run with his own kind. The rattlesnake run with his own kind. And this is among snakes. This is among snakes. But they run with their own kind, right? The cobra runs with its own kind. Isn't that right? The rattlesnake run with its own kind. The hippo is with the hippo. The crocodile is not with the alligator. The crocodile is with the crocodile, and the alligator is with the alligator. Isn't that right? Is that right or wrong? And we have to understand that. We have to understand it, brothers and sisters, that God made us who we are to be with our own kind. To be with our own kind. You don't have to feel guilty about that. Well, I don't feel guilty about being with my own kind. Why would I feel guilty about that? We have to know one another. And the question is, what is the problem of us knowing one another? And doing our own business. What is it? What is the problem with that? It shouldn't be any problem with it. Right? The only problem is with the white man. He says, because he knew it, let me tell you what was going on. You became a member of the U.S. government because they saw another way. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. They saw another way that they could make money. They saw another way that they could make money from you. So they decided to give you an illusion, because that's what it is, to give you an illusion of freedom. If I can give him an illusion of freedom, if I do that, then I can make him seem like a citizen. If I make him seem like a citizen, then I can manipulate him, right, to do the things that I feel that a citizen should do. Isn't that right? That's what the opposition is saying. Because it benefits America. It benefits America, brothers and sisters. For you to have desire of American citizenship. And I say to you again, we're still not citizens. We're not citizens. Anybody that challenged me on that, I'd happily explain to them why. We're not citizens. So it makes no sense for us to vote for rights. If we're no citizen and we're trying to become a citizen, then voting rights, right? Because citizens are the only ones that get voting rights. You and I won't have any voting rights. I hope you understand me, brothers and sisters. You and I will never have voting rights. That's the key. And if you don't understand that, you need to understand it. That is the challenge that you have in today's society, is to understand what is in front of you, how it's moving, and how long it's been there. How long it's been there. A lot of our children don't understand the fight that we're up against. Why? Parents didn't do a great job of preparing them for the present. They prepared them for the future, but they didn't prepare them for the present. And we don't know how the future is going to be. Just don't know how the future is going to be. They prepared them for the future, but they didn't prepare them for the present. We don't know how the future is going to be. Understand that. We don't know how it's going to be. So the only thing that we can do is hope and pray, right? All praises be to Allah, God, Jesus, whatever you want. All we can do is hope and pray that things will fall into place, because we know that those Satan plans that Allah is the best of planners, right? We already know that. So we got to be steadfast. We got to be immovable. We got to be always abounding in the work of God, which is found in our Lord, found in the world that we're in, found in the one we call Christ Jesus. What did he do? He sought to let the captives go free. Captive to what? Those that are captive to sin. Those that are captive to illicit drugs. Those that are captive to sexual promiscuity. There are some people that are prisoners to this. Right? Cigarettes. pork, catfish in the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of the pond, right? To set these people free. Because once you get, and here's how it works. Once you get good spiritual health, you can get good mental health. You can get good physical health. Once you get spiritual health. So brothers and sisters, I want you to understand. We have to be ready. Right? We have to be ready and we have to be strategic. We have to study these things that have happened to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and his minister. Minister Malcolm was his minister. Don't believe what you've been told. And I tell you, I've just questioned it about a lot of things. Even Spike Lee, how was you able to make that movie? How did you get the budget? I just question everything. And then he listened to James Goodman, James 2X Goodman. We're going to talk about him, another agent that was with Minister Malcolm in the Nation of Islam. He came out of the Nation of Islam. They gave him that little spot in the movie. He came out of the Nation of Islam, went with Minister Malcolm to the Muslim Mosque Incorporated, learned about everything that was going on, was taking it back to the nation, constantly causing trouble. Taking this stuff back to Wallace Waradeen Muhammad, constantly causing trouble, which put Minister Malcolm in a very precarious position because here's an individual that was taking everything back to him, and it was his right-hand man. And what I want you to know is that Judas is always on your right. Is that right? When I say right, I don't just mean your right or left, because that's your right. He's always next to you, in other words. But then when he get into the planning stages, that's when Judas can make his move. When he was leaving up from the table, he had met with so many so quickly. And Jesus knew what he was doing, right? He said, what thou do it quickly. Isn't that right? Whatever you're going to do it quickly. I've been watching you, and my spirit has revealed to me what you're going to do because you're that shady. And some people around you, you got to watch them and study them so you'll know their moves. You have that ability to do it. You have the same ability to know their moves. God will show you if you pay attention, you pray. He said, pray without ceasing. He said, watch as well as pray. This is Jesus in distress. Why? Because he knew that somebody had infiltrated into this group with their own motives. Right? That's most honorable Elijah Muhammad was in stress. He began to get sick. This is when they were poisoning him. He began to get sick, but he was also overcome with stress and grief. Why? Because he knew someone in his organization was starting trouble. He knew it wasn't Malcolm in the outstart. Malcolm may have spoke out of turn. He may have disobeyed the most honorable Elijah Muhammad on the Clinton thing. But don't you know the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was more important to know that somebody was trying to destroy his movement? He knew it wasn't Malcolm. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad would have nothing to gain by killing a Minister Malcolm X. But that's the lie that Wallace Waradeen Muhammad put out. That's the lie that the Minister Farrakhan was carrying. Same way he carried a lie about Minister Malcolm and how his tongue should be cut out, put in an envelope and mail to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. How his head should be cut off, severed from his body. This is Farrakhan, supposed to be the man that loved Malcolm and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who said such a Malcolm is worthy of death. He wasn't the only one. Wallace Waradeen Muhammad, the son of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad children, the money changers, isn't that right? And then the ministers in the nation that wanted control. They were already complaining. Some people complain anyway. You ain't did nothing. You don't have to do nothing to them, but they will complain. They'll know how to stand beside you. Nobody's perfect. Brothers and sisters, I'll be the last one to say that anybody's perfect. Not me. I would be the last one to say that anyone is perfect. But my point is simply this. As black people, we should be giving each other the chance to reconcile our differences with one another, and we have to be agreeable without being violently disagreeable. And if we stop the man from coming inside of our camp, we'll make it. But you got to stop the man from coming inside your camp. You let him come inside your camp. And it's crazy because at these times now, when we should be listening up, we should be listening up to learn and understand something. Because this world, this economy is going through another change. But how are we going to do for self if we don't accept and understand that change? How are we going to do for self? And that's the question you got to ask yourself, brothers and sisters. You got to ask yourself that. How are we going to do for self if we can't have knowledge of the change? If our eyes are not made sensitive to the change, if our nose are not made sensitive to the smell of change, if our tongue, taste buds, are not made sensitive to the taste of change, if our teeth can't bite into the texture of change, if our mind can contemplate the texture of change, if our ears can hear, right, the change in the atmosphere. Brothers and sisters, you and I are dead and we're dumb. If we don't have those things operating from us, we're dead from the neck up. From the neck up, we're dead. So we have to understand what's going on. Listen, the same thing is happening again. If you have a man that is founded an organization and a messenger of the organization, which were already under distress, already being pressured by the government, because the government saw early on how important this organization was and how much it could affect the lives of black people. And here's the truth. The government does not want you to do better. The government wants to continue to have you under oppression, but they can't do it because their time is up and God is on the black man's side. The only thing that has to happen is the black man has to get on God's side. It's God that when the white man put you in chain, allowed you to go through those dispensations, allowed our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, right, to go through those changes, right, and to organize still black communities, black banks, all this stuff. That's what I'm telling you. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing what was did before him. And they organized these things to give us a sense of independence and freedom because they understood that freedom meant control of your community, control of your finances, control of your religion, control of your education. Everything you control, you have to control everything in your community. And if you're going to do that, you won't be able to do it with white people running amok in your organizations, in your community, in your bedroom, in your kitchen, in your living room, in your garage, in your lives, in your hobbies, in your religion. You'll never do it. You'll never do it. And this isn't hate. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching you self-love. That's why they had to destroy his organization. The Nation of Islam you see under Minister Farrakhan is not the nation you see under the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, if you want to see a nation movement, Silas Muhammad out of Houston, Texas is moving. They're doing a great job in the nation. Farrakhan isn't teaching the Nation of Islam philosophy. Farrakhan isn't teaching that. And I pray that Allah would send a messenger, and I mean one that is concerned about the people within those ranks that he's been preserving, so that when the agent, this provocateur, this eavesdropper, this coward, this informant is out of the way by Allah's power. I pray that no harm come to him, and that is only through the power of Allah that he rests, right? Go take his rest, his natural and spiritual rest from this place, so that Allah can raise someone that will still take those that are there and guide them back to the right path. Isn't that right? He said, guide me on the right path. Not the path of a disobedient one and working against you, but one that's going to do your will. Martin Luther King was talking about the same thing. I just want to do your will. And what was Martin Luther King in trouble for? He had met with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1965, 1966. 2-3 years before his death. He met with Minister Malcolm 3 years before his death. Isn't that right? What was he trying to do? Reestablish the black community. Why do you think that was important? Because integration is not good for the black man. And the black man's, or rather the white man's heaven is the black man's hell. You got to understand that. You got to understand it, brothers and sisters. You got to understand it. Don't forget to thumbs up, brothers and sisters. I've held you long enough. And but I wanted to go over that. And we'll come with this with a fine-tooth comb. Fine-tooth comb. With a fine-tooth comb. We're going over this. Because it's something that you should know. It's something that you should know. And as soon as you know it, you'll begin to be free. But you got to know it. You've got to know what your fight is against. And we have to take our time. And if you notice on our schedule every day for the next 30 days, we've got a show every day because I want to bring you all the way up to date so we can begin to talk about what's going on now and what organizations we have to worry about, right? Not necessarily worry about, but what we need to be organizing for. And in our community, and the way Allah would have it, we can meet, all of us could meet on a conference, right? There are private room settings that we can go and meet to. There are places that people can grab links where we can meet to. And there we have at what they call a dark rooms where we can all meet on the web. And you and I are talking. We're in a private setting, right? And then from there, we'll be able to organize and come together in other states. Isn't that right? Whereas before, we'd have to get on a plane and move back and forth to do those things. Allah has provided, or God, or Jesus, or whatever you want, Jehovah, has provided for us to be able now to meet with one another and not even have to leave our offices. Not even have to leave our front room. Isn't that right? So we can do that and we can use it. Because Allah is, every time he creates something, it's created for us to come out of this bondage. The white man just don't know it and he can't stop it. He can't stop what's being created because God said for us to stand still in the liberty that ye have been made free, that you have been bought with a price. What price? Life. Life eternal. That's the price that we've been bought with. And while we have it within us, right? Because the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is where? Right in there. Right in there. Right in the dome. See? The kingdom of heaven is among us. How we think, how we speak. Our faith will bring it forth, brothers and sisters. Our faith. If you keep thinking that you'll never have a store as big as Walmart, then you'll never have it. But if you wake up one day and say, you know, I'm going to have a store as big as Walmart, then you'll get it. You'll get it. If you wake up and say it, it'll happen. If you don't say it, it won't happen. But if you wake up and say it, it will happen. You know why? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It'll happen because you said it. And you have the power to make anything you say happen. If you say you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you say you can do it and you want to do it, then it'll happen. You have to understand that. You in the power of your tongue. Isn't that what it says in the Bible? That in the power of your tongue, you can speak life or death. That's what it says. The question is, do you believe it? The question is, do you believe it? Because it's taught in your Bible. It's the same Bible, the same knowledge comes from God. It's the same writing. Very same writing. The same writing that you have, the same writing that the prophets had. Right? The white man just revised it and blinded you of the meaning. That's why you have to have both books and study it and reach behind it and find the truth. And I got the new book coming out, that I guarantee you, and I think, praise God, Allah, for it. But the book that I have coming out, when you find this discovery that I'm going to release to tie us where you knew it, but you couldn't put your fingers on it. All praises be to God, Allah, that he showed me something. I'm going to put it out to the brothers and sisters so that you would have the knowledge. Our children need to grow up knowing who they are. It's not enough for you to find out where you come from, but you got to know who you are and begin to operate in that. Understand why you are more oppressed in this country than anybody else around the world. Why do you think that when Malcolm left, he's traveling through Africa? Why? Why do you think Alex Haley went to Africa? He wasn't just taking a trip, brothers and sisters. Wasn't about that. But you got to understand. You got to understand that God in his omnipotence, God in his power, has made a way for you and I. And what we need to do is have the faith that he will guide us on the right path. That's why when we pray, we say, guide us on the right path. Not as hypocrites, right? But true believers. Guide us on the right path. We got to be guided on the path of God. Brothers and sisters, I appreciate you. We got started just a few minutes late. But nonetheless, I'm thankful. And I know that God is guiding us. And I'm going to keep this up. I want you to tell somebody. Grab at least 10 people. At least 10 people. We just want to have at least 30 or 40 people in attendance. 30 or 40 people. So if we go over that, we ask for 100, we might get 50. And we ask that you support the show. We ask that you attend the colleges that we have, Imhotep University. If you want to invest in meta stocks, and you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody controlling your money. You can do everything the web all by yourself. If you need some help, we'll guide you and show you how to do it, because we want you to do it. We want you to do it. And not to mention that Meta is a black stock. It's something you can do for yourself. If you want to get education, brothers and sisters, in herbal medicine, we have a school. Prince Imhotep University can teach you herbal medicine. You can literally go online and study herbal medicine if you want to. So you don't have to be working out there for the man. You can be working for yourself. If you have the faith, if you push forward, you can be working for yourself. You don't have to work for the man. You don't have to work for the man. I know that the election is coming up, right? There are people talking about voting and all of that. Nikki Haley and all of them are talking about Trump. I just want you to understand. I tell you, I just want you to understand that there's no difference besides the size of his canine and the size of his carcass. There's no difference in the fox or the wolf. There's no difference. So you got the fox, which is the Democrat Party. You got the wolf, which is the Republican Party. And you got the hyena, which is the Independent Party. They're no different. They're all canines and all from the canine family. They're no different. But you got to wake up. You got to wake up, brothers and sisters, so you will know in your heart. Isn't that right? You got to wake up so you can know in your heart, right, that God is for you and give you the eyesight that you'll be able to see it, so you don't fall for the tricks. You shouldn't be, if you're over 25 years of age, you shouldn't be falling for those tricks anymore. The older you get, you should have some understanding. And if you don't have any understanding, you should come to the show so we can give you some understanding. Isn't that right? And that's why we have it every day. I want you to also be in preparation for Ramadan. Certainly be in preparation for Ramadan, brothers and sisters. because we certainly want you to be ready. We want you to be standing righteous. Love your family. Men, be good to your wives and your children. Sisters, be good to your husband and your children. Children, be good to your parents. I love you. I say unto you, peace be unto you, and peace be unto every household. And I'm for family staying together. Brothers and sisters, I love you. And if I didn't say it in the beginning, I say it now to you. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. Never mind,